Block Stadium, home of the East Chicago Thunder. I'm Mike Fleischman. Glad you're with us. We move to the bottom of the fourth. Thunder's got a little work to do as they're down 5 now. 10-5. The Milwaukee Titans put 6 across the plate in the top half of the frame. Gunnar Linden, who provided the national anthem before the game, is going to join us on the broadcast. And Gunnar, thanks so much for coming up and joining us in the press box. Good to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me here today.
So tell me a little bit about what brought you up to Block Stadium today, and a little bit about what you've got going on in your career as a musician.
Well, as a musician, I kind of perform in a variety of settings. Currently, I play in the West Loop of Chicago pretty routinely at a place called the Alhambra Palace. But, you know, with the national anthem, I always want to honor people that have served. I have members in my family that have served. And so the lady Cheryl Rogers, a good friend of mine, asked me to come out here today. And, you know, it was a beautiful day for it. So wanted to come out and make some memories for family and friends to enjoy the game.
So tell us a little bit about how you got started with music. You know, when did you, first pick up the piano, and how did you turn that into something that you can do as a career, as a professional venture?
Yeah, sure, Mike. When I was a kid, my parents had me in lessons as soon as elementary school, and of course, growing up, then I was in the marching band throughout high school. And then in my adult life here, I got started on my own, performing at restaurants and also things like high-end malls and clothing stores, the mall piano player here and there. And I also do some rock gigs, blues groups and things of that nature. Past few years, I've really taken it more serious. I was an overnight maintenance technician for about 10 years throughout my 20s. And gratefully, I've been able to leave that maintenance job and pretty much do music full time. So I stay busy.
Okay, from one former night shifter to another, I feel you on that career move to do a little bit more work when the sun is out.
Yep, that's right, Mike. It's hard to, hard to have a social life when you're working overnights or family life.
Pitch outside. Magano takes a rip and a miss. Might have gotten a piece of that, and he'll stay alive. 0-2. Magano, Rojas, and Zabrowskis batting here for the Chicago Thunder, down 5 as we're in the bottom of the fourth. And now, I was talking with Cheryl a little bit. Mentioned that you really cover the spectrum of styles of music. That one's going to run in and hit Nick Magano. So Magano is going to be aboard at first, hit by a pitch. Do you have maybe a favorite style of music to play? Are you maybe a favorite composer or a favorite musician that really has inspired you?
Yeah, sure, Mike. On the classical side of things, for the darker stuff, Beethoven, and there's a German composer named Antonin Dvorak, if anybody's looking for a good classical musician. And then on the rock side of things, growing up, I'm from Westmont and Downers Grove, about an hour west of Chicago, and a lot of people don't know Muddy Waters retired there in his adult life. So I do appreciate a lot of the old blues musicians, Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters of that nature.
Oh yeah, we can talk a little bit about Howlin' Wolf in particular for a little bit. That's definitely right in my wheelhouse. What about contemporary guys? Who do you follow in the contemporary scene?
Contemporary scene, I'd say there was a period in my life where I did enjoy a lot of the jam music. So there was a lot of bands such as there's a jam band named Moe, M-O-E, that tours pretty consistently, and a couple other of the jam bands. And then in terms of nowadays, there's a good blues musician named August James. He's a local guy in Chicago that I do appreciate and respect him. He's a guitar player. So a lot of the local guys, I try to support the people that I believe that they're really doing it for the love of it, and to make memories for people.
Yeah, something I talk about all the time is that community-oriented stuff is so important. You can go on the internet, you can learn anything about anywhere in the world right now, connect with people from everywhere, but if you want to get out and do something in person, it's got to be local. It's why I like local media. It's why I like local ventures. And yeah, there's just something great about and music in particular. You can watch watch your YouTube all you want, but if you're not seeing it live, I think you're missing something.
That's right, Mike. That's right. You got to make memories. You got to.
Bash leaves it outside, and on to third with the wild pitch is Magano. So if people want to learn more about Gunnar Linden and know where you're going to be, where can you send people?
Sure, Gunnar Linden with an A, Gunnar, and then Linden, Linden. So Gunnar with an A, and you can just search that in onto Instagram or any social media app there. I post pretty consistently on all of them.
And baseball-wise, who's your team?
You got to go. I mean, as a Chicagoan, I'll say I'm a Chicago fan. Mike, I don't want to get in the caught in the middle of the politics.
There's a couple of teams in Chicago.
I know. But my family's from Detroit, so I can't lie. I do have some history there with Detroit teams, Tigers, and the few years ago they did. Well, it's probably been about 10 years. Since they went to the World Series.
See, I'm from northern Wisconsin, so I'll say unabashedly I'm a Milwaukee Brewers fan, and that puts me in a tough situation frequently.
Yeah.
Living
You know how it
and
goes.
working in the
Yeah.
Chicagoland area, but I can handle the heat.
You got stronger back than me, Mike.
Gunnar, thanks so much for
Hey,
joining us here
hey.
on the broadcast. Good
You
meeting
too.
you.
You too, Mike. Take care.
Gunnar Linden, who supplied the national anthem, joining us here on the broadcast. A couple of ducks on the pond for the East Chicago Thunder.